Okay, so in yesterday's video, I told you that it was going to rain a lot. So it's been raining at least 24 hours. We may have had a small intermission this morning, but not really much. So it's accelerating. It's getting faster, the amount of rain. And this weekend, it's actually supposed to get worse. Maybe today. I can't really keep track of when it's supposed to get worse. Last night, it was fairly significant. So I'm going to bring us out here and we'll talk about it. Now in yesterday's video I told you that we made some headway on the well. Now you can start to see that the water is really starting to pick up in the ditch here. So in yesterday's video I explained all this, so I will put an up next box at the end of this video to that video. So this is all me being on a mountain. Like I said in yesterday's video, it's just absolutely overwhelms us, and it comes off the road. I'll bring you up to the ditch. That doesn't seem too bad right now. So now they're saying that we're going to get 3 days of flash flooding, so 6 to 8 inches of rain. So this is going to be pretty significant. Now, of course, I told you yesterday that I was worried about the well. So it's going to be hard to see probably, but I'm going to do my best. Normally, even in a light rain, we would have a puddle of water right here. So now that I put the tarp here, there's no water. Now, it's a little bit moist. I will admit that my sandbags, which are actually compost bags, are not holding the water back completely. But it is holding it back a little bit. It's hard. I don't know, maybe you can't see it in the camera. But right behind the concrete block, I don't know if you can see that. I'll hold it over. There's concrete blocks. And so there's a little bit of dribble coming out of that, which is okay, as long as I don't get a big old puddle in here. So then I come over to this side, and everything's working like it should. So you can see there that we have water in the ditch. So that's working. So the runoff, keeping everything away from the well. So I was kind of thinking about what I'm going to do to make this a permanent solution so I don't have to have a tarp here. I might use a tarp. I might sew in somehow or another a piece of PVC pipe around here, and then I can just twist it up kind of like an awning on a RV. Or maybe I can make a slide where it slides out and just lays down. But I don't know. I may never do anything, just use the tarp like it is. It really wasn't that hard to set up. If this works, this should keep my well pretty clean since I'm not getting any water. So now you can start to see, yesterday's video I was telling you how we had such hard rain that we basically had a river here. So you can start to see, this isn't as bad as it was last time, all that runoff. Now, I know somebody's going to say, well, that's because you cut a ditch there. Well, yeah. I would rather it run off down the hill and carve off a path this way than run into my well and make it dirty. So, I think I might, although I've said this a million times in the past, I guess, it seems like this should work. Fingers are crossed. We'll find out on Sunday. This is Friday. So it's rained all day yesterday, good portion of the night last night, and it's raining now. It's going to rain most of the day today. I don't even know if we get a break tonight. I don't remember. So it's really dark, which means we're not getting any charge from the solar panels. There's just no electricity being made. The charge controllers recognize that there is a daylight out. There is some daylight, but so I get this little flash in the charge controller, but it's not producing any volts. You got to have, I think, 14 point some odd volts before the charge controllers will even consider coming on. I guess I could just take a look, see if it's flashing. I get flashing yellow lights on the charge controller if there's enough sunlight to turn on the charge controller. Nope, they're not on. I lied. So you'll see here maybe a yellow light That should be flashing. If that was flashing, then we would have enough sunlight to be charging. So we don't even have any charge going on. Now I know people are going to complain about this video. It's all spotty and I can't see anything. Well, I just wanted to give you the experience. So that means I ran the generator this morning and a good portion of last night too. So this generator can pull two chargers, one at 25 amps and another at 10 amps. So I have battery chargers like you buy for your car. I got two of them. I guess I should have showed you that while I was in there also. So those battery chargers work with each other. So as the batteries charge, the one with the 25 amp seems to drop first in amps. So it's at 25 amps and the other one's at 10, and it'll go down, down, down. And then I check on it regularly. When I came down, the one that was set at 25 amps was at 9 amps, the other one was at 10 amps. It didn't budge. So that means there was a total of 19 amps being put into the battery. That means one charger at that point could handle the charge, so I shut it off. One of the problems we're having, and it's not a problem, it's just part of life, is we're got that little 30-watt heater for the chicks in there. The solar panels on the sunny, even partially sunny, mostly, you know, halfway sunny, the solar panels keep up with that just fine. But on cloudy days like this, those chargers really struggle. So I ran that charger, both of them, well, I charged the batteries for about 4 hours. It was a long charge today. The rain is slowing down, but I feel like the stream is picking up. So the water must be coming from the top of the hill now. So that's just part of the deal with raising these chicks. I mean, there's some cost involved. And so the way I look at the cost, it's $3 and I think 14 cents right now for gas. So if you run it for 4 hours, you get about 12 hours off a tank of gas. So you're running about 3/4 of a gallon. So maybe $1 a day, something like that. So you can have chicks. It's not overly cost effective to do it that way on cloudy days, but we also make up for it on sunny days where I don't have to run it at all. So I don't know, if we spend 20 bucks on gas this month for that heater, I would say that's worth it to raise those chicks. Now somebody's going to say, what about SHDF? Because you can't live off grid unless you're thinking about the end of the world. Well, I would shut off the freezer. I wouldn't need electric at night except for the heater. It would be fine. Now I haven't ran the well. I'm not going to run the well. I really want to give this a thorough test run to see if this works. I forgot to show you yeah, I showed you yesterday, but I forgot to show you that we also put this down and it seems to be working okay. The water, it has moved on me a bit, I can tell, but the water is running off of it. I went ahead and put a piece of metal on top of here. I don't know, it was getting a little wet on here and I didn't like it, so I just wanted to see how this worked. Again, I don't know how important this is on the backside. So we'll see how well it does throughout the week, and hopefully we resolve this problem with it. Maybe a simple tarp, or if I wanted to get fancy, slide something out. Of course, Carolyn's cooking down in the camper, and she is stubborn. I told her she could use this to go down there, and she says, well, that's more work than it's worth. I don't know, whatever. But so she still runs up and down the hill, getting good exercise, because now she has to jog up and down the hill. Like I was saying yesterday, you know, I just keep working this well problem. I know we've been at it for 4 years, but you got to figure, for about 12 months, I didn't have any issues with the well, so there was nothing to work on. And then about a month ago, we got that 1-inch rain, and I forget what it was, a half hour, an hour. Get that 1-inch rain, and it just overwhelmed everything I'd done. So it's just a constant learning curve. And I get that there are people who hate my well and really think that I need to pour concrete in it. I still get complaints still yet today about it, how I'm contaminating the water. But like I said before, I'm doing more for that well than it has been done in the last 20 or 30 years, 20 years. It's just sat there with dirty water in it for 20 years. If anybody contaminated, it was the previous owners, whoever they were. I fixed it up. And so now if there was dirty water in it, it's only temporarily. It's just a day or two. The thing that I don't seem to understand is why is everybody getting mad, or these people that call them code enforcement, getting mad about my well when I have read on Google and the New York government webpage that tells everybody that the wells get dirty. It happens. And here's what you do to fix it. Here's what you do to try to prevent it. And I've done everything. Granted, I'm not from New York, but we know that their laws are always more restrictive than that anywhere else in the country. So I followed New York's laws on how to modernize an old well. And people are still complaining that they're code enforcement. I mean, they called my code enforcement officer. Come out here. He says, I've been out here before. I remember it. What is the deal with your well? I keep getting these complaints. So I showed him everything I did, and he said, well, I don't see anything wrong with it. Of course, he wanted to see, not to code or anything, but he didn't understand why I didn't have a pressurized tank on it. Normal wells, modern day wells, well, all wells, you pump water into a pressurized tank, and then the pressurized tank sends water to your house. And then you open up the faucet. I don't have one of those. And so he didn't really understand why, so I had to explain the whole system to him with the IBC tank, that on sunny days I have solar panels that run the well pump. I fill the IBC tank, and then I use that not as a pressurized tank, but as a tank to pump water into my house when I open the faucet with an RV pump. So my system is basically the same as a regular system with a pressurized tank. The only difference is I don't use pressure. I use electric. I use an RV pump. So it's all the same. It just people want to shut my channel down or get me arrested. And it does get pretty serious at times. When they're calling law enforcement, code enforcement, like I've done something crime. And the thing is people have been arrested for making false allegations against me. A guy in Tennessee was arrested, convicted, went to jail. I don't know why people insist on doing it. If you identify yourself, if you get yourself caught, because I always forward emails to my sheriff, and he looks into them. I know he does. I've seen him do it. Well, he did it with that guy in Tennessee. He's done it one in California. If he thinks that you're harassing, he takes action against you. So I don't know why people insist that they're not violating the law by harassing, tormenting, illegally turning me in. It's one thing to turn me in if you know that I'm breaking a law, but just to be turning me in just so you can harass me, you can't do it. It's similar to this swatting thing that's been going around all over YouTube. Some guy be on a live feed. They call the SWAT team in your area. And what they want to do is they want the SWAT team to come in while you're on live feed. So they can see it on YouTube, you getting, thrown to the ground and all that. Well, people have been killed over this. Content creators have been killed by the SWAT team because of this. It's a crime. And when you do it, you're the one who's going to go to jail. So I would highly suggest that y'all stop turning me in, whoever's doing it, reporting me as a criminal. You're going to get caught. And like I said, I forward all emails to my sheriff. He emails me back regularly. Yep, I got the IP address on that one. Yep, I know who that is. I've contacted their sheriff, whatever. So if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you to a video where yesterday's video, when I was showing you me setting all this up and explaining it. So if I can inspire you to work through your problems, sing, live your dreams. Thanks for watching.